Hello, today we're going to talk about some more bad gold. This is a very interesting story because we're not talking about fake gold, we're talking about counterfeit gold. Um, this is a very, very advanced operation. The gold quality is 99.99. Although a few bars have been found that are of a lower quality, but the bars that were found later are of a very high quality. I will take you over my slideshow as I normally do. I hope you enjoy it. Please subscribe and take care. So the story starts in 2017. JP Morgan, a big bank, sent some of their employees down to the vault to check the gold they have. This is a very simple procedure. You walk around with a tablet and you just put in the numbers of the gold bars. At some point there was a problem, because the problem was that when trying to put in the number, the tablet, it's an Excel ARC program, says, no, you can't do that, this number has already been put in. The employee goes then to the supervisor and says, hey, there's a problem because I can't put in this number. And the supervisor says, no, you must have made a mistake. Go back to the beginning, you probably put in the wrong number. Now, they repeated the process and they found that it was not a mistake. There were two gold bars there with the same number. This is, of course, not possible. As it turned out that there were over 1,000 1 kilo bars with Swiss logos on it, partly PAMP, partly Volcambe. This is because Switzerland is the country where most people trust the gold bars. And I would like to quote Michael Masaryk. He is the chief executive of the refinery from Volcambe. He says, the forgeries are sophisticated, so thousands more may have gone undetected. He said, maybe a couple of thousand have been found, but the likelihood is that there are way, way, way more still in circulation. And it still exists and it still works. Now, this is where they popped up. Let me see if I can show Japan, Hong Kong, and Thailand. When asked, the big producers of gold or traders of gold pretty much all said, well, we just contact the police or we send it back to the refinery and they can then contact the police. However, ANZ said it buys previous cast bars from a select group of counterparties, and the policy they have, and that hasn't been changed by Counterfeit, was to remelt and recast them before selling them on. And now I want to show a quote from the Perth Mint. In the case of the Perth Mint, we melt every non-Perth Mint bar and coin we buy back. And what this means is that they get a gold bar, they put it in a machine, the machine will test and say, yeah, this is a 99.99 gold bar, but since it's not from the Perth Mint, they will just melt it and make kangaroo bars of it. And that means that if there is a fake gold bar, or a counterfeit gold bar, then it will just be made legal because it disappears from the market. Now, we're going to have a look at four countries that are under sanctions. The first country we look at is Venezuela. The gold mining there is extremely primitive, and I will show you a small video. So here's an interview with a woman. that talks to the Human Rights Watch. She was witness to how a woman was accused of stealing, and they cut off one hand first, and then they cut off her other hand. These mines are operated illegal, but the government keeps these things going. The next country we look at is the Democratic Republic of Congo. On the left side, you can see all the mines. Now, I only show you the gold mines. There are obvious also coltan mines. That is the stuff they need in mobile phones. And on the right side, you can see all the mines that are controlled either by rebels, criminal gangs, the army, or the police. Now, in 2010, the Frank Dodd Act was accepted in the United States, and it makes it pretty much impossible to buy minerals from the Congo. It took about 4 or 5 years before that actually was implemented. Now, I want to show you something. Pretty much all these mines in this area will sell their gold in Uganda. I've been in contact with a gold buyer in Uganda, and he says it's very simple. When people come, you start with a leading question. You say, you did find this in Uganda? And then the people say yes, and then he will say, okay, we'll do the paperwork. We have to pay tax. There's about 0.5% tax on it when you export it. This story is also confirmed by 2 journalists from the Deutsche Welle. They made an article about it. It's quite normal for people from the Congo to smuggle things into Uganda, Rwanda, and also Burundi, and even Tanzania. Now, here we look at the export numbers from the Central Bank of Uganda. Now, 2010, I explained that's when America makes a Consumer Protection Act, and in it there is a clause that says that buying things from the Congo is a really bad idea. And I explained that it took a few years before this was actually implemented. But see here, 15, they sell, well, roughly $40 million of gold. The year after, over $300 million of gold, then $400 million of gold, and then $500 million of gold. This gold is primarily sold to Dubai and to the UK. Now, it's quite impressive that a country as Uganda that produces very little gold itself, even when they were at top production, it was around $100 million, that they can produce $500 million, and that the production in the Congo pretty much stopped, or at least the selling stopped. The production obviously didn't stop. Now we have a quick look at the Rwanda. In 2018, Rwanda declared that they sold for 2,163 kilos to the United Arab Emirates. But if you look at the import numbers from the United Arab Emirates, they officially imported 12,539 kilos from Rwanda. So the next country we're going to look at is Iran. This is Iran. Because Congo, they don't have to make fake bars. They can just sell it completely legal to Uganda, or almost legal. Then it's from Uganda, and then it can just go to Dubai. Venezuela doesn't have the technique to make it. So we now look at Iran. Now, after the Islamic Revolution, gold was seen as not a really good thing in Iran. However, they are opening their gold mines, and there is a huge demand in Iran for gold. You have a picture here where you can see a gold shop in Iran, and in June this year they imported for 1.2 billion gold and pearls and other precious metals. But this pretty much means that the state in Iran is interested in having gold. They want to have more gold because it will make their economy more stable. They're not interested in selling gold. So what's left? Well, we have one country left. In 2016, the EU made sanctions against North Korea, and one of them is that you cannot trade gold, silver, other precious metals, or diamonds with North Korea. They have 2 mines and they have a yearly output of 1,000 kilos. So we're coming to the end of this story. Well, first of all, I want to say I'm not saying this gold comes from North Korea or comes from Iran, the Congo, or Venezuela. It could be from some advanced drugs dealers that figured out this is a way to get their gold into the legal market. But what I do know is that it is time for consumers to ask questions. Now, yes, you should ask your mint, where does your gold come from? Does your gold come from Uganda? Then I don't want your gold coins, because I know that Uganda doesn't produce that much gold. And maybe it's also time to write a letter to your member of parliament and ask them to force gold dealers to publish their supply chain. Because really, I don't want gold from a country that is abusing human rights. I don't want gold that comes from rebels, and I definitely don't want gold from terrorists or from drug dealers. Thank you for watching. I hope you will support the channel. Leave a like. See you next time.